A chilly morning, all packed up. Everything's covered in dew, so everything I have now is soaked. So I'm gonna have to spend some time at some point today drying everything out. I'm just gonna head into town. It's about 4 kilometers away, and get some fuel and some cleanup, a little bit of food, and then the main road up there is the road I'll be taking back out. We might hit Montana today based on the route. It does a big U-turn, it comes down, goes into Montana and comes back again, and then we'll continue on. So we'll see how far we get today and where we end up. All right, let's hit the road. All right, that was a great little camp spot. I've got to squeeze my way around a gate. That's what I did to get in. I barely fit by. Hopefully I can get by without having to take one of the boxes off, but it's pretty tight. Here we go. Looking good. Success. All right. 6 degrees. And it feels it. Yesterday the 2 degrees did not feel like 2, it felt warmer. This definitely feels like 6. Found out that my placement for the second time of the microphone in the helmet was no good, especially at speed, super windy. So I've moved it to the third time. I might just be a complete fail when I try and talk on the highway. So I'm going to do a little hike, just 5 minutes out of town, and then we'll continue on down the trail. Okay, the sun is just about to hit the bike, so while I'm away for the few hours on this hike, hopefully everything dries out, and by the time I get back I can pack her all up again. Okay, this is a 2-mile trail, the Pulaski Tunnel Trail, and it commemorates the Great Fire of 1910 and how Edward Pulaski saved all but 6 of his men from the Great Big Burn, as they call it. In the summer of 1910, this area was ravaged by a series of small forest fires and grew into what's known as the Big Blow-Up, where all these small fires merged into one huge, massive fire. A little known conspiracy theory also goes that it was the Great Big Blow-Up Doll Festival of 1910, and because at the time hydrogen was big for making things float, all these blow-up dolls were filled with hydrogen. That's really what the cause was. But I'll let you guys decide. On that fateful day in August 1910, hundreds of men were brought in to fight this catastrophe. Ed Pulaski, named after the Pulaski tool, set out with 45 men to tame the wild beast. Pulaski, who was definitely not an invalid, knew the area well and was an esteemed forest ranger. He was actually one of the forefathers of the Power Rangers. Another little known fact. As Pulaski and his crew were battling this unprecedented blaze, gale force winds kicked up out of nowhere. No one could possibly have predicted these type of winds. And quickly placing Pulaski and his crew in danger, Pulaski had to jump into action. Being the right man for the job, he was able to lead them into the mine tunnels. It was here that Pulaski ushered all but 6 of his men. And here he held them, just like Big John held the mine up in the Johnny Cash song. He held them here until the fire had passed. I finally collected 45 men. My voice was almost gone from trying to call above the noise of the fire and wind, but finally succeeded in making them understand that if they would seize blankets from the camp stocks and do just as I told them, there was a chance of our saving our lives. Otherwise, they would be burned to death. Trees were falling all around us under the strain of the fires and heavy winds, and it was almost impossible to see through the smoky darkness. Had it not been for my familiarity with the mountain trails, we would never have come out alive, for we were completely surrounded by a raging, whipping fire. My one hope was to reach an old tunnel mine, which I knew to be not far from us. We raced for it. On the way, one man was killed by a fallen tree. Pulaski held the fire at bay from the mine by holding up wet blankets. Most of the men succumbed inside to smoke and passed out. But once the fire had passed, they awoke and somehow managed to make it down. As Pulaski said, how he got down, he has no idea. Pulaski spent 2 months in hospital recovering, and then retired from the fire service in 1930 and died in 1931. Finished up the hike. My stuff was pretty much dry, sitting in the sun that I left out. Maps.me is not cooperating, giving me the route. So it's taking me on some roundabout route, so we're gonna follow the actual dirt road. Eventually it'll decide it's happy. So I don't actually know how far I need to drive. I was on this part of the track yesterday looking for a spot to camp.
Figured out some other guy to come down.
Okay. What's your name?
Back up. Dan.
Dan. Okay, Mitch.
Yeah, my son's bear hunting with him.
Okay.
Out of that group, so.
Okay, so there should be somebody hopefully there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, there's a guy there broken down, so I'm gonna head to where he says there's a hunting camp, and some guys will hopefully come help him. Hey, are you Mike?
No, Mike's not here. He went to town.
Your buddies with Dan?
Yeah.
Dan's busted down by the tunnel.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so I was just passing by and he said he was busted, so he said, you guys at the camp here, if anyone's there, to let him know.
All right.
So.
Will do. I'll go up there.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. You have a good day. Okay, mission successful. Somebody will come rescue Dan and his dog. If it wasn't for the dog, I would have kept on going.
Were they there?
There was one guy there. Dan wasn't there, but you do have somebody coming.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
No problem. Yeah. Good luck.
I didn't like walking that far.
No, that would be a pain, but at least it's not that far if you have to walk.
Good luck, man.
Okay, we'll see ya. Take care. So there's a campground somewhere along this awesome looking canyon. A couple kilometers away. I made it. And there's a spot right by the river with a picnic table. Okay, all set up in a beauty of a spot. I'm gonna go jump in the river here. It was a long, tedious day, lots of switchbacks. A nice rinse off will be nice before I have some dinner. Not bad at all. There's probably some kind of crazy water leech that's swam up my butt or something that I don't know about.